Soil. We build civilizations on it. It feeds our crops. And it's alive. How can soil be alive? Although it is usually described as a single substance, soil is actually made up of a mix of things, including small bits of rock, decaying plants and animals, fungi, living bacteria, and other microbes. This living soil exists as a vulnerable ecosystem, and it is our job to help maintain and improve it where we can. Soil has 5 essential functions for the environment. Healthy soil keeps plants and animals alive, and not just worms. Healthy soil feeds the plants and animals living on top of it, and without healthy soil, crops that we depend on can fail. When soil health is poor in a field, farmers have to put a lot more fertilizer on their crops. A second essential function of soil is to make a nutrient cycle. Nutrients like carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus move through healthy soil, sometimes being stored there, sometimes being pulled into growing plants, and sometimes being changed from one form to another. This cycle helps crops grow strong and keeps natural areas vibrant. Function 3. It stabilizes the world. Plant roots bury themselves in healthy soil, both to get to the nutrients stored there and to keep the plants from moving or being blown away in a strong wind. Soil also gives us a substance that humans can work with. Function 4. It helps control water flow. Whether it's focusing snowmelt from a mountaintop or keeping a crop from drowning in a heavy downpour, soil changes how water flows across the world. Function 5. It helps stop pollution. All those microbes in the soil pack a pretty big environmental punch. They can stop the spread of toxins by filtering them out of the soil and even degrading them into non-toxic substances. It doesn't work for everything, but it can be a big help in breaking down all sorts of organic and inorganic materials. So how can you make your soil healthier? Well, there are 4 principles of soil health that can help with that, especially if you are farming. Principle 1. Cover it up. Remember the Dust Bowl? Soil without any plants growing on it was dried out by a huge drought and picked up by the wind. Had that soil been covered by a plant, even one that could not be used as food or made into products, the wind could not have snatched up the soil. The Farm Bill has programs to help plant these cover crops that can help stop your healthy soil from becoming mud in a ditch or dust in the wind. They can be planted in between standard crop rotations, and some of them can actually be grown at the same time as your main crops. Principle 2. Diversify. Bring a variety of crops into your fields. Rotate crop types so that crops that take certain nutrients out of the soil are followed up by crops that help put those nutrients back into the soil. Make sure your cover crops follow this rule too. This will help keep the nutrient cycle going and help your soil health. The Farm Bill has initiatives that can help you determine which kinds of plants work best for your soil and needs. Principle 3. Grow all year. The nutrient cycle is your friend as long as you always have something growing. Try to keep plants in the soil that add nutrients all year. Some perennial cover crops can help with this, and can also create a network of roots that keep your soil from eroding away. Principle 4. Do not disturb. Soil is kind of like a pie crust. The more you mess with it, the tougher it gets. Tilled soils have less organic matter, erode a lot more, hold less water, and can get a dried out, compacted crust, which makes it a lot harder for the nutrient cycle to work. Using techniques called no-till or mulch tillage to plant crops can reduce a lot of these problems, and are, you guessed it, programs that the Farm Bill can help you with. So there you have it. Soil is a living ecosystem that supports crops and wildlife, keeps nutrients cycling through the soil, provides a stable foundation for plants and construction, filters pollution, and changes the flow of water. You can keep your soil healthy by keeping it covered by a diverse section of plants all year, even plants that you don't intend to harvest, and disturbing the soil as little as possible. By following these practices, you can make your soil healthy and productive.